Welcome to the Adult Algorithm Podcast, the How to Adult podcast.
First of all, if you don't have a planner, get one.
I don't know
This
how
ain't
you
high school.
I don't know how you survive.
There will be no sugarcoating whatsoever.
This is the hashtag No Sugarcoating podcast.
And I'm your host, Jasmine Johnson.
You're like the best influence and the worst influence all in one.
Are you ready to grow into your potential? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Adult Algorithm, the How to Adult podcast with your host, Jasmine Johnson. I hope everyone is having an amazing week so far. You're already done with Monday, so now you just have today, and then tomorrow's halfway through the week, and then Friday is like sooner than you all think. Today, we have an amazing episode that goes along with our love and growth theme for this month of February, which is so coming to an end soon, but it's okay because we have an awesome March theme that we'll announce next week in our last episode of the month. So before we get into the episode, today's episode, episode 19, what? 19, that's crazy. Before we get into episode 19, of course we have to do our small business / platform shout out, and of course it has to be to my friends and now podcaster friends who were on our episode about real friendships only. Hunter and Clay have finally, and I say finally because when they were on, we thought it was going to come out soon, but it is February and they have it out. It is at the Simcast. Go look them up on Spotify and all your favorite podcast platforms. And on top of that, go follow their Instagram at simcast_. And you know, if you want, I know I am not hilarious. I am more on the more serious side. If you want a hilarious, comedic podcast to listen to, this is the one to go to, so go check them out. As for this week's episode, I welcome a very special guest who has a very special place in my heart as one of my idols. She was my cheer captain my first year of high school, and kind of put me on that platform to prepare me to become the captain the next year as a sophomore, and I'll never ever be able to repay her for that. But I love that she wanted to come on, and when I asked, she was like, absolutely, when? Let me know, I'll be there. And I'm really excited for you guys to hear what she has to say, and I'll just let her introduce herself. Here is our episode with Amber Wrench.
My name is Amber Wrench. I am currently a personal trainer. I started in the fitness industry, in the fitness world, when I was about, I could say like probably 16, like when I was in high school, right? Mm-hmm. I would go from school to cheerleading practice, and then I'd go to the gym. Everybody thought I was crazy. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was crazy for doing that, but it was kind of like a way to like distract myself from everything going on. I never really like talked about feelings or anything like growing up at all. So my mental health at that time was kind of very low, but I didn't know about it at all. I just kind of was so used to suppressing everything that I just, looked for distractions. So I went to the gym. I would do like nothing like squats, cardio, and abs, and think that was like a really good way to like work out. And now that I'm like actually experienced, I look back, I'm like, oh gosh, like what was I doing? But anyway, so after high school, I stopped cheerleading. And I didn't really have like anywhere to turn. I know.
Rip.
I know. I miss it so much. It was such a fun time. Like, I'm so thankful for that too, because that was such a happy place for me, like with all the negativity that I had like in my brain. So during college, I think that's when my mental health like really went downhill. That was like a very hard time for me because I was kind of thrown out like on my own, and I didn't have time for like, or I had the time, but I didn't like make time for anything that would distract me like I used to do like in high school, right? Like I'd be in school all day, go to cheerleading practice, go to the gym, go home, make food, go to bed.
Right.
And then I'm thinking. So Okay. So yeah, college was when mental health was really, really bad. And I knew I needed like some type of outlet. I wasn't sure like where to go. So like I started like going to therapy and like trying to figure it all out. And then eventually I started like I was very into like substances. I mean, not bad substances. Like I smoked weed and drank alcohol.
Yeah.
Like that was literally it. I never touched anything else, thankfully. But I was like really using that as my distraction after a while because I didn't have any healthy distractions anymore. So I thought that this would be fun. Like, you know, I wanted to be in a sorority and like thought that's where like my self-worth lied in like college. And obviously now that that's so like not true at all. But around that time, that was when I like knew I liked fitness. I knew like it was something I needed a healthy outlet. I knew I needed something. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to dive into this because every single podcast I had listened to back then, or every single YouTube video about how to be happy was like, do things that you love. So I took that to heart and I still take that to heart every single day because that's like the best advice that anybody could have ever given me. And so I started diving in and I was like figuring out like all these new exercises I wanted to try. And like I had people like working out with me and I was just so happy about it. And yeah, ever since then, it's just been an amazing outlet for me. Every time like I've been upset or angry or, you know, just needed somewhere to go to get like my mind right, you know, for the day. That's what I do. I go to the gym and it makes me feel like $1,000.
Oh,
Best thing that's ever happened to me.
that's great. So like would you say that's when you knew you wanted to be a personal trainer, or when was it like you want to do this as your job? When was that for you?
So after a few years of working out and going to the gym, I had left college already. I was working in a restaurant. I didn't know what my path was at that time, but I was still going to the gym every day, still grinding, like knew I loved that. So I was like, okay, like I could probably train people. And the reason I wanted to become a trainer in the first place was because I saw the mental health aspect of it where I dug myself out of a hole and put myself into this positive atmosphere and I wanted to teach people that. So I guess around the time a little maybe like a couple years after I left college, I think that's kind of when I decided to do it, but I was very like I definitely procrastinated like actually getting the certification. Like it took me a couple years to like go through the certification process and like but yeah, it's the best job in the world. Most rewarding job in the world.
I love that. What do you think is like the hardest part about your job?
Hardest part about my job?
You're like, nothing. It's great.
Honestly, like I've never thought about that. Oh my gosh. I would say probably like grinding and like getting clients. Just like the grind part, but it's not I wouldn't even say it's hard because I enjoy it.
Mm.
You know? So that's probably the most difficult aspect as far as that goes. But like training clients, like I don't want to say like it comes naturally to me, but I mean it kind of does because like I love people. I love like, helping people. So it's like it's literally the most rewarding thing when they're like, thank you so much for helping me. Like it makes my heart so full.
That's awesome. What was your goal at the beginning of like your fitness journey, and how far have you come since then?
Oh my. When I started my fitness journey, I think my goal was to like it was honestly, I think like I said before, I think it was just to make myself happy, you know? I think it was something I knew I was going to do long term because I enjoyed it. Um, but my goal was really to get happier, obviously, gain confidence. Also, just kind of learn about everything. I wanted to dive in and like, I wanted to be a sponge with like everything in the gym. I worked out at Planet Fitness. I looked at like all the people who were jacked and I was like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? Like, I was that girl at the gym that was like watching everybody because I wanted to learn.
Yeah.
And I like would try the exercises that like the other girl was doing in the corner, or like, you know, it was awesome. And like Whitney Simmons, I don't know who she is, but she was like one of the first people that I like looked up to.
Oh.
So that was, yeah, I just wanted to learn how she got to where she is, but also learn everything I could about fitness and health.
So what do you think the biggest myth of working out and like fitness? What do you think the biggest one there is? Or do you have a list?
No, I have one.
Oh
People
God.
think that cardio is going to make them like cardio, like people think I want to lose weight, cardio. Like I'm going to go run on the treadmill and that's going to help me lose weight. And it drives me crazy because in the moment, yes, you're burning a ton of calories. You are, you're getting active and you're getting your heart rate going, which is amazing. And I'm not saying cardio is bad because I do love a good cardio session once in a while. Like,
Can't relate.
no, it's great. It makes you feel so good. But if you only do cardio long term, what's going to happen is you're going to burn through body fat, yes, which is what you want, but you're also going to burn through that muscle mass. And muscle mass is super important for long term of burning calories because you have this thing called your basal metabolic rate, which is basically like minimum how many calories you're burning throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
So in order for you to increase that number, let's say it's 1,000, right? In order for you to increase that number to 200 or 300, you need to increase your muscle mass. So long term, when you're increasing your muscle mass, you increase that basal metabolic rate, you have that muscle on you. So if you stop working out for like a day or two, you're still going to be burning those calories. And long term, the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn. So people who do cardio all the time, when you're making that basal metabolic rate number go down, you're leaving more room for your body to store more long term. Does that make sense?
Oh my gosh, I need to like write this down. I feel like
Well, you have it recorded, so you'll
I
be
feel like I'm taking a college class right now.
So, I mean, that's like the most basic way that I can explain it, but that is the myth that drives me absolutely insane.
Wow. Some people are gonna be real mad when they hear that.
I know it's not like it doesn't help you lose weight, but long term, like if you've been doing cardio and it's been helping you, that's amazing. And I'm happy. Like if you're happy, I'm happy, but you do need to gain some muscle mass at some point, because that's how you're going to stay healthy long term.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Love it. So actually I didn't even put this question in there, but I'm just wondering, because I know you're like really focused on the fitness part. What about like your diet part, if you don't mind me asking? Like, what does that look like? What is a day in the life of like your, I guess, like food? What does it look?
It depends on a goal. So if you're somebody who's trying to gain muscle, gain weight, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So you need to be basically that basal metabolic rate number. You need to factor in how many calories you're burning throughout your day, whether you're sedentary, or which means like sitting down all day, or whether you're active. Add in that amount of calories, add in your workouts, and then you need to be eating more than that total number.
Oh.
And then in order to lose weight, you need to be in a caloric deficit. So it's adding again all of those calories up that you're burning every day, and then you want to be eating less than that. And how much less depends on the person, depends on your goal, genetics, all that good stuff. But for me personally right now, I'm trying to gain muscle, gain weight. So I'm in a caloric surplus and it's amazing. Get to eat whatever the heck I want.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. No, it's great. But right now, high protein just to build muscle, lots of carbs. I like to have vegetables just because I feel healthier when I have vegetables. And they're very nutritious. So yeah, it's awesome. It's great.
What's your favorite meal?
Oh gosh, my favorite meal. Well, like nutritious or not so nutritious. I would say right now my favorite like bulking meal is steak and pasta and spinach, or steak and mashed potatoes. Oh,
again, me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite bulking meal, just kidding. But yes, that is my favorite. I love steak and potatoes. I mean, that's what I had last night. So
That's awesome. Oh yeah, right? Your date. That's awesome.
I love that. That's awesome.
Mhm.
What do you think of like keto and like those diets? Do you think that they actually work in the long run, or it's just like a temporary type of
I
substance?
think it's temporary. Just because you're kind of missing out on nutritious or certain aspects of nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, keto, like you're having high protein, high fats, but you're not having any carbs.
Mm-hmm.
And your body's main source of energy is carbohydrates. So, what's happening is they're in a caloric deficit, which is great. Okay, let me start out by saying if you're in a caloric deficit, you're going to lose weight. You could eat, let's say your basal metabolic, let's say you're burning 1700 calories throughout the day
Mm-hmm.
and you're eating 1200 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're burning 500 calories a day. That's a lot, but you're burning 500 calories a day, right? So you could be eating 1200 calories worth of Oreos and lose weight. You don't want to because you look and feel like absolute dog poop, but it's like, so for keto, like I would say it's not very sustainable because you're missing out on carbohydrates, which is again your body's main source of energy. So if you want to lose weight, like just put yourself in a caloric deficit. Put yourself on something that's sustainable long term, because when you start your health and fitness journey, it's important to look at food in a healthy way, especially like I've worked with people who have like eating disorders and
Right.
that want to lose weight, and it's really hard for them to like look at it and be like, oh my gosh, like
Yep.
I have to eat like 1,000 calories and no carbs. And that's so not it. Like if you eat 1,000 calories, you're eating 1,000 calories. Like you can have 1,000 calories of carbs, you'll still lose weight. Like I think
Love
that's why it's super important to track everything that you take in.
Mhm.
Um, just because you want to be able to eat the foods that you want and get to your goals.
Yeah.
Not everybody's goal is to get shredded and do a bodybuilding show. You know what I mean? So in order for you to stick with a new habit of food,
Mm.
you can track everything you're eating, figure out what like works in moderation or what serving sizes you need specifically for you, and eat what you want and enjoy it. But also like if you want to get healthier, like eat healthier foods.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And be proud of yourself when you do, because it's a big step. It's a hard like journey to get yourself into if you're not used to it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So
Love it. I've been
yeah,
eating Brussels sprouts lately, so I'm pretty proud of
that's so good.
it.
Brussels
um,
sprouts are great. I love them.
so how do you deal with your like insecurities and your like inner saboteur? Like how do you deal with that when you're like this confidence icon?
Honestly, like it's gonna sound weird, but I don't feel like a confidence icon. I feel like, I mean, everybody has insecurities, and like on social media, it's so hard to tell whether somebody's being real or not, you
Mm,
know?
that's true.
My whole like thing for my platform is I want to be as real and raw as I can. Like, and I want people to be able to look up to that aspect
Mhm.
rather than me being like sugarcoating everything and being like, oh, you have to be confident all the time, because that's so not realistic. You know, like
Sugarcoating.
it's, yeah, and like it's not realistic. Like everybody's gonna have bad days. I have bad days, you know? And on those days where like that inner saboteur, as you say, like comes out, um, those are the days where I really just have to make sure I'm like, okay, like this is just my ego talking. I'm a great person. That's when I have to like go all in on like the affirmations and the journaling and journaling about gratitude and make sure I do the things for myself,
Mhm.
because that way at the end of the day I can look back and say, okay, I may have had a bad day, but I still did the things I love. I still made myself feel better by working out or, doing the things that make me feel better, and I made time for that, so that always makes me feel better at the end of the day.
I love it. That's great. Um, that's huge too because I feel like a lot of people that want to change their lives have a hard time putting in the work like that.
Oh,
And
it is
it's like,
so hard. It's so true. Like putting in the work is honestly the hardest part. If you want to change, you absolutely can. You totally can, but it's not easy. And not a lot of people can do it because you have to put yourself in a very uncomfortable state of mind. And even your body like gets tense and like you feel like you're doing things wrong, but it's actually like how you bloom, you know? Like those feelings are good and people are like when they're stuck in that like oh gosh, like this isn't for me, like all the negative thinking, like I'm not doing this right, like I'm just going to stay where I am. That's so normal and that's so part of the process. And I think that we should normalize that because it's hard. Yes, it's very difficult and it's something, but at the end of the like the light at the end of the tunnel, like it's there, you know? Like and I think people forget about that because they're so caught up in like the negative feelings and thoughts and it's not supposed to be easy, like going through all of this and changing. It's not.
Yeah.
And even I like still have trouble with it, you know? Like I have bad days. Again, everybody has bad days. Everybody has their insecurities, but it's something that I mean, David Goggins, I love David Goggins. He's like he's an absolute savage, but he's amazing. He talks about get comfortable being uncomfortable. And when I heard that 2 years ago, I think, I was like, huh, that makes so much sense because every time I had tried to change before that, I was like, it was too uncomfortable, or I thought it was too uncomfortable. And then he explained it, and I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Like, you have to get comfortable putting yourself into uncomfortable situations, you know, because that's the only way you're going to grow. That's the only way you're going to see progress. And I think for me, the one thing that kind of catapulted that whole thing, that mindset for me was going to the gym because when you're in the gym, you're uncomfortable. Like your body's burning, like you're running and you're doing cardio and cardio is not fun. Like it's not something I enjoy, but I do it because it makes me feel good after, you know, because I think in my head, like it's uncomfortable, but it's going to put me where I want to be. And that's something that people either forget about or they get too scared to move forward with and accept it as part of their growth process, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love it. So what would be your biggest advice to someone who, isn't even comfortable putting on a bathing suit?
Oh, no. You are, I think, here's the thing, like, I think everybody can look at themselves in the mirror, whether they're overweight, underweight, unhealthy, healthy, and they should be able to say, like, I'm beautiful. If you feel beautiful, you're going to emit energy that's beautiful. And if you're overweight and unhealthy, then if you want to do something about it, you absolutely can. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping you besides what's in here. All the negative thoughts that are putting you down, it's not you, it's your ego. It's something else in your head that's like trying to stop you from getting uncomfortable and putting yourself in a place where you're going to grow. And I think that for somebody who can't even put on a bathing suit and is really scared and uncomfortable, it's like, find a bathing suit that you think you look good in. Find a bathing suit you love that makes you feel beautiful. Put it on and go rock it. And if somebody has something to say about it, screw
Send
them.
them our way. Send them our way.
My way. I'll give them a pep talk. Like, and as far as like beauty standards and everything like that goes in social media right now, like everybody's comparing themselves to everyone. And even I do it. Like I'm over here like comparing myself to some fitness influencer that like can lift this girl, she can like squat 200 pounds and I'm not there yet, but I'm like, oh, like I wish I could do that. And like there's these girls with like, like bigger butts, so I'm like
Amber, I don't think that's possible, girlfriend.
no, it is, trust me. I've seen it, but it's like little things like people being more successful than I am, or like, I don't think it's fair to judge yourself in that way because you have to remember, like, wherever you're at in life, whatever stage you're at in life, like you have come so far to be where you are, and I think that if you're, again, like going back to the bathing suit, if you're afraid to be in a bathing suit. If you buy a bathing suit that you like and you wear it, that one day you're going to be like, yes, like I am so proud of myself. Like I did this. And that feeling is the most empowering feeling that you can feel. And I think that that's very important. So just remember that that's how you're going to feel, and put on that bathing suit, girl. Put on that bathing suit. And if you want to get healthy, get healthy.
Yeah.
Because it's important. Health is important, but you should feel beautiful regardless of your weight, because if you chase the weight and you're like, I'll be happy when, like destination happiness, like destination happiness is it's such an annoying thing, because people are like, I'll be happy when I'm like 105 pounds. I'll be happy when, and the truth is, no, you won't, because you're looking externally for your happiness. You're not looking within yourself already. So look in the mirror, tell yourself you're beautiful. And if you want to get healthy, get healthy.
You should be a motivational speaker.
Oh, it's on my list.
It's on the list.
It is.
Do you believe that like healthy bodies look different on everyone?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's like numbers that are involved, like your body fat percentage, a healthy body fat percentage I guess we're kind of going towards females here. So 18 to 24% is like a healthy range, or 18 to 25, sorry, for females. So obviously, like when you're anything higher than that, you're at a higher risk for heart disease, you're at a higher risk for all of these chronic health conditions that you don't want, of course. But for someone to look and feel healthy, I don't think weight is the most important number in that.
Right.
Definitely not. I think it's, if you're starting to feel healthy, if you look in the mirror and you feel confident about how you look, that's the most important thing. And I tell all of my clients that, because when you start a journey, again, it's like destination happiness. Like you can't look at the end goal and be like, that's when I'm going to be happy. No, look at yourself in the mirror, enjoy the process, because you are growing and you are losing the weight, you are getting healthier. So be happy with that. And again, just tell yourself you're beautiful, and yeah, you'll feel so much better.
How do you instill confidence in your clients?
Kind of the same, just everything I'm saying right now. I just make sure in the beginning I'm not like, so I try not to overwhelm them at first with everything, because it is a lot, especially somebody who's overweight trying to lose weight. It can be scary, because going into a personal training studio, like you're seeing two people that are fit and healthy and have been working on this forever, and you're starting day one. So that's freaking scary for somebody. That is terrifying. So the most important thing is when they walk in the door, like they feel comfortable, like they feel greeted, they feel like excited to be there. So we put on some happy music whenever a new person comes in. Like we want to make it the most comfortable experience for them as possible. And then I just kind of make sure they know the process. Like the first week I work with somebody, normally it's just like finding their weaknesses, their strengths, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they need to work on. And then the following week is when we go over food. I don't like to overwhelm them at first with everything, because then they're like, okay, I have to do this. I have to work out 5 days a week now. Like I have to eat all this perfect food, and it's unrealistic. Like that standard of like, you have to change everything right away. Like it's unrealistic. Like, so I make sure that they know that from the beginning. That way, when they do eat healthy and they do eat perfectly, like on their meal plans, or they track their calories, or they hit their proteins for the day, they're like, yes, I did that. And it's like, it's a rewarding thing for them. So that's important to me. Those messages I get when my clients are like, I hit my protein for the first time, I'm like, yes, like such a win. Like, I'm so proud of you. And I think just making it a positive environment for them the whole way through, like from beginning to end, every time they hit a milestone, like that's going to make them feel more confident. And yeah. And every time they come in, if they lift a heavier weight, like they're like, yes, like I have this girl, this client, I'm not gonna say her name, but every time she comes in, she's like, all right, I want to lift heavy today. Like, let's go. She has like the most energy. Like she's so happy and like this bright person. Love working with her. And she kind of just started her journey too, and she was so scared. She had no idea like what was going on in the beginning. She like told her to get into a plank. She was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, we're literally starting from square one here."
Literally. Okay, let's go.
Yep. But now she's like lifting heavier. She's getting stronger. Like she's getting more confident, and she's learning. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It really is. And I make sure that they know that I'm proud of them too, because I think it's important for them to like know that the person who's trying to make them healthy is proud of them, you know?
Yeah.
So confidence comes slowly from confidence. I mean, from clients, but once they do start to get more confident, it's like the coolest thing to see. That's the most rewarding thing for me, I think.
I love it. Would you ever open your own gym?
I
You're
would
like, it's on the list.
Yes. I told you I wrote out this list of 300 things that I want. I told you about this earlier. And what the list of 300 things does is it kind of brings out everything you're thinking of into existence.
Yep.
Like, and once you get to like 25 things, you're like, do I even like, what else do I want? And you just write down everything, and it's like, I want like to own a candle store, and you're like, did I even want to own a candle store? Like, what is this? So, but it's cool because it brings out everything that you could possibly think of for like your career. But going back to your point, sorry, I got off track. What did you ask me again? I'm sorry.
Do you want to open your own gym?
Yes, so I do. Eventually, yes, it's on the list. That's why that was important. So yes, eventually I would love to own my own studio. I would love to, make it my own flavor. I think that's a while down the road, just because I did just start like with all of this a couple of years ago. So I want to get a lot better at it before I, move forward. But it's not an option right now. Eventually. Yeah.
Do you have both men and women clients?
So currently I'm training, it's 100% women. I have had male clients in the past, but I'm also learning that I love training women. It's like my favorite thing because they come in, I can relate to them. I do like training guys too, don't get me wrong, because I did have this one male client and he was an absolute savage. Like he came in, he loved working out. Like he was the hardest working client I've ever had. So I am down to train men, but I think I just attract more of a female audience. And yeah, so I love training women.
Yeah, I love that. What do you think is do you think the hardest part of their journey is getting started?
Absolutely. Yeah, because that's the hardest thing for anyone, right? Like being honest with yourself. Like in order for you to get started on a health journey, you have to be honest with yourself. Like tell yourself like, I'm unhealthy. Holy crap. Like I don't feel good walking up the stairs. Like what's like
Me.
Like how do I like get healthier? That's definitely the hardest part. But as soon as you like, even for me, like on my bad days, like the 90% of the battle is getting yourself to the gym. So for somebody just starting out, yeah, that's definitely hard. And I guess my advice to somebody like that would be who's like scared to start is like the fact that you're even thinking about starting is so good because you're putting yourself in that mindset of like, I want to move forward. I want to be healthier. So be thankful that you're telling yourself that because that means growth. If you're scared of something, if it excites you and scares you, it's probably meant for you. So yeah.
Beautiful. You just answered my last question too.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
What was that?
What's
Advice for somebody?
Yeah. We said that to somebody who's starting. So that's so good. The accuracy is astronomical. Like I know for me, Kyle loves when I go to the gym with him. It's not my thing. I love working out by myself.
Oh, me too.
By myself.
Me too. You know why? Because it's like it's an emotional release for me. Like, and don't get me wrong, I love working out with my boyfriend. I do. And he'll agree with me on this. Like working out, there's nothing like working out by yourself. Like throwing on your headphones, like if you don't want anyone to talk to you, throwing on a hoodie, like, and just putting the work in. And like when you leave, oh, it's like you feel so much better.
I love it.
And working out with people's fun too. But I feel like I get a better workout in when I work out.
I love it. I bought a weighted hula hoop the other day.
I about those.
So if you want to borrow it, let me know.
I'll have to try it out. I've heard that they're like pretty good, but actually I haven't really heard anything about it. If I'm being honest, like I've seen them like on TikTok, I think.
Yep.
And that's it. Like I haven't.
You're like, not from anyone reliable, but TikTok, I have seen it on.
Yeah, literally.
That's so funny. Well, if you have any last minute advice or anything else you'd like to say, or any plugs.
Well, I guess for anyone struggling out there with either confidence or wanting to get healthier, or just being afraid to take the first step, just remember that it's not supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to be a little bit scary. It's supposed to challenge you in more ways than one. It's supposed to, again, put you into that uncomfortable state of mind so you can figure out how to navigate that uncomfortable state of mind and move forward. And it's a beautiful thing. Once you get to the, I don't want to say the other side because I'm not even there yet, but once you go through your little milestones, and everybody's journey's, specific to them. Once you get through your own milestones, like you're going to feel so good. So just remember that and own your journey, because you live once, and you're the number one person in your life. So you're stuck with you forever. So
True.
make it a happy place in here, in your head, like tell yourself positive things, and yeah, just YOLO.
YOLO. Perfect.
Thanks, Drake, for the life advice. It's sad, but it's true. I totally use the YOLO reference all the time. Even with my clients, I'm like, YOLO, and it makes them laugh, but it's kind of true. You do.
Like, you can deny it. It's true.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, I'm at Amber_Wrench. My TikTok is at Amber Lee Wrench, I believe. But I'm mostly active on my Instagram, so follow me on that. And if you're looking to get a consultation with me, send me a message on Instagram. I'd love to have you come in. I'd love to work. I love working with everyone. So,
yay! Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy. I was so happy when you asked me. I was like, yes, please. Like, finally, it was on my list.
Oh my gosh.
I hope you guys enjoyed my interview with Amber. Again, thank you so much, Amber, for coming on. You are an absolute angel and had the best advice for us. 2020 was not an easy year, especially for people with mental health as well as people who struggle with physical health. So thank you so much for putting everything into light and giving us some advice on that, because it's a new year, better us, and we are ready to be better for ourselves and our friends and family. And as always, if you want to keep following us on our podcast journey, please feel free to give us a rating. Like I always say, I love constructive criticism. That's how you grow. And if you want to follow us on all of our social medias, it's at the adult algorithm, and our Twitter's adult_algorithm. Next week is episode 20. Are we kidding? It feels like episode 10 was just yesterday. Episode 20 is going to be a very special one. It's going to be one that you guys don't want to miss. So get ready for that. And as always, I am very excited to help you next week grow into your potential. This is Jasmine with the Adult Algorithm signing off. Bye.